What's up everybody, welcome back to the channel. Godly Tech Reviews here, and today we're going to be trying out a different format. Today we'll be looking at Reddit confessions just for fun, and we're going to be reading through them and giving some feedback as what I think about some of these confessions. Now without further ado, let's get right into the video. Okay, so the first one says here that I secretly love COVID lockdowns. Mainly, I love the quiet and no pressure to be anywhere or interact with. COVID was a perfect excuse to avoid the world. I kind of miss it. Honestly, I sort of agree with this because if you're an introvert, for the most part, you are not going to want to go outside all the time, for the most part. But the one thing about COVID lockdowns I didn't like was the fact that you couldn't do much even if you wanted to at least get out a little bit. Because trust me, staying indoors for a very long time gets really boring. Even if you're an introvert, it still gets really boring. So as much as I agree with this point here, I still think COVID lockdowns kind of sucked in a way, but if you're an introvert, you've benefited from it. That's kind of how I'm thinking about it. I killed my dad and I don't regret it. This is a crazy one. I didn't kill him intentionally, although I've wanted to for most of my life. He was diagnosed narcissist and incapable of caring for anybody besides himself. He beat me and my mom senseless almost on a daily basis and actively tortured her. I know because I was the one who dragged over to her and forced to clean up the mess he made of her and treat her wounds so they'd heal. So this, we can already see there's a lot of abuse going on in the family. I hope OP is alright. I never stood up for myself because I learned at a young age that it made everything worse. The best I could do was just take it and get over with it. Until I was 16 anyway, then I saw him actively trying to kill my mom and something broke inside my head. I believe I had a stress-induced schizophrenic episode as I heard a voice telling me how he was gonna kill her. Ooh, he told me about everything he had done before and how much of an evil monster he was. I had experienced an extreme explosion of anger once before like this, and it led to my little sister's death. It exploded on him this time, beat him senseless. I felt nothing but the blinding rage of what he was doing to my mom, and whilst I could see, I was fixated on my mind's eye and the thoughts of every time he hurt her, and I did nothing wrong. Okay. I didn't kill him then, but I came close. I know this is a confession, but some part of me is about to think maybe OP is not quite saying the truth here. Maybe he or she's joking. I don't know. It's a confession, so it could be true. I didn't kill him then, but I came close. I shattered my own hands to the point my knuckles came through my skin, but I didn't feel any pain until much later. My dad was in a very bad state, but he survived with some scars. I got a slap on the wrist, but it was well known that he was abusive and the police had been calling him multiple times, but the charges never stuck because my mom was so afraid of him. Oh wow, okay. So there was like a conflict between between OP and the dad, but at this point OP hadn't really killed his or her dad yet. I didn't kill him then, but I came close. I shattered my own hands to the point my knuckles came through my skin, but I didn't feel pain any until much later. My dad was in a very bad state, but he survived with some scars. After he got out of the hospital, he immediately kicked me out. I was happy to leave and lost contact with mom shortly after. He didn't allow her to speak to anyone unless absolutely necessary, and never to me. Few years went by and I reached out to my mom in secret because then my girlfriend, now wife, so OP is a male, was pregnant with our twins. I was utterly terrified to be a dad because I thought for certain I would end up like him. She helped me through it, as did my girlfriend, but we had to talk in absolute secrecy and it was very hard to do so. She was absolutely terrified of that, but was more scared of losing contact with me again. After a few weeks, I got a message from her begging me to pick her up. Then he had found out we've been meeting and was beyond furious. It took me longer than I would have liked to get there. And I found her beaten so badly I didn't recognize her, only her broken jewelry. I honestly thought she was dead. All right, I'm like getting lost in the story here. So OP had a conflict with the dad, and then his mom had to go to the hospital, and his dad got angry because OP had been seeing his girlfriend. He attacked me while I was trying to resuscitate her, cut my back open. Hell broke loose after that, and I don't remember details. I don't remember a moment where I realized it was him, but I knew when I was very young, I was very obese. Good. When I was very young, I was very obese, and after leaving home, I lost the weight. I wanted to keep it off, so I exercised a lot. I didn't look strong at all, but when I flexed my muscles, it was obvious I was extremely strong. This is only relevant because I did so much internal damage to him with each punch. I caused him a severe brain hemorrhage, split his liver in half. Okay, I'm not gonna say all this because YouTube restrictions. All I remember from him falling off me, clearly shaking and convulsing. It was only after the ambulances came that I noticed the damage he did to me on the back. A lot of cuts and shallow stab wounds, the worst being one in my side where he left the knife. It was barely even in me, only held in by a flap of skin and flesh, barely even scared or scarred. He didn't die for a while, but he was left brain dead by the hemorrhage, kept alive by machines until mom could authorize them turned off. They were just buying a little extra time anyway. The damage to his organs were imperable at his age and lifestyle. Alright, OP. This is an unbelievable story. I'm having a hard time believe it, but I'm not trying to say your OP is lying. I'm just having a hard time believing it. I felt, and I still feel no regret whatsoever that I killed him, only that he died too quickly. I wanted him to die slowly, very slowly, suffering every moment of his meaningless existence. I wanted to take him in and be his carer, so I could chain him up in a soundproof shed and force him only to drink his own piss, give just enough food to stay alive. I wanted him to know the agony he forced on me and my mom every day of our lives, and instead he got the easy way out. I was given a very minor charge and served no time in prison. The police were already on their way when I got there. I used excessive force, but I was ultimately defending myself. Had to go through psychiatric therapy and testing, but ultimately got off lightly. Could have been a lot worse. That's why I'm posting apparently. I need to talk about the traumatic events in my life, and here it's easier. Edit. Thank you everyone for the support. I honestly expected nothing or even to be called a liar. Thank you for those wondering. This was about 4.5 years ago, not long before the pandemic hit the UK. Mom had a stroke because of the injuries dad dealt to her and moved in with us while she recovered. She's looking to move out now, but she's been with us ever since this happened and is starting to come out of her shell at last. This is a very interesting story. I got the gist of it. I'm gonna be honest, I don't think I understood the whole exactly what happened. This was one of the craziest Reddit stories I've read or confessions. I hope he is doing okay, and a lot of ones are doing all right. But yeah, let's look at some of the responses here. What happened to your sister? He says he killed her when he was 7. He was angry because of the abuse and that she wasn't being abused and lashed out because of what I did. She ran out into the road and was hit by a car. Wow. So this is very tragic. This is actually a very tragic story. It's not the kind of story I was actually expecting to look at on the confession side. Wow. I hope OP is doing all right with his mom, but this is a very tragic story, and my condolences for the loss. To F, my professor. I'm not sure if I want it, but I find him kind of attractive. Giving some context, I'm a 22 female, so we can assume she's in college. I'm currently studying my major in physics, and my professor is an investigator and has a PhD, and he's like one of the smartest people I know. He gave me classes last year, but this semester we will be collaborating for an investigation the university is doing. So I feel kind of nervous when I'm around him, and I don't know, it's really confusing. I don't know if I just want to be closer to him because he's so clever, or just find him attractive because of his knowledge. Someone has ever been through something like this? I mean, I guess so, a little bit. So she pretty much, it's, I feel like it's more of admiration than, you know, love, because he's so smart. She looks up to him, and he's a very knowledgeable person. OP pretty much feels that attraction. Maybe that's what's causing that, you know, attraction to the professor. And one comment here says that's actually super common. Women love teachers, knowledge, patience, kindness, and attractive qualities, which is true, pretty much what I mentioned. Thank you guys for watching this video. This is Godly Tech Reviews. I hope you enjoyed those little confessions I read through. Most of them were sad, but hopefully that brought some sort of entertainment for you guys. Make sure to give a like, subscribe down in the comments down below. Signing out.